Hi, this is Heidi, episode 22, Mirroring Emotions. Life isn't a spectator sport. The greatest rewards come to those who show up every single day with a pocket full of courage, grit, and a little sparkle. Well, hello, family and friends. Continued thanks to all of you who are sharing this podcast. I've now had thousands of downloads, and I'm preparing workshops and presentations for groups over the next few months. And many of you have reached out to me and you tell me how these tools are helping you, and I love it. Recently, a friend was telling me of a stressful situation she was in at work and how one of the thoughts that I had offered, I am the perfect person to handle this, on my Favorite Thoughts episode really helped her. And she could feel like a pivot and a switch in the energy to solve the problem, which she did when she used this thought. And I just love it. So today I want to spend an episode teaching you about the concept of mirroring emotions. I've taught you that your emotions are created by your thoughts. They are vibrations you feel throughout your body. And often we change the way we talk or hold our body, or maybe laugh or cry or have certain mannerisms when we are feeling certain emotions. And a mirror reflects what's in front of it. So the idea of mirroring emotions is that we often subconsciously reflect emotions of people we're around. And we usually reflect the emotion of someone with a strong emotion, or we find ourselves maybe getting calmer around someone who's calm and quiet. And often mirroring is a way of showing empathy and understanding to the other person. And empathy is a very important way for us to connect with people. A couple months ago, my husband came home from a business trip early because his father had passed away suddenly. And he was sad and grieving. And it would have been inappropriate for me to try to be super cheery when I was actually sad myself. So being able to mirror and understand his emotion was an important way for us to connect and for me to empathize. So mirroring isn't a problem if we want to feel and express that emotion. In the 1980s, scientists discovered what they call mirror neurons. The neurons that fire when we assume, like the physical stance or actions, and also the emotions of people around us. And it's very important to be able to read expressions of other people, to see the world like from their perspective, to develop understanding. All of these effects of the mirror neurons help us develop rapport with the people in our lives, family, at work, our neighbors, so forth. And we love being around people who are happy and cheerful. We often smile when someone smiles at us. When someone's kind and thoughtful, we find it easy to be kind and thoughtful to them. And you know my motto, our vibe attracts our tribe. We end up with people who live with similar emotions to ours. And I like being around happy and upbeat people. I don't have to work too hard to keep those emotions that I'm comfortable with. Now, as I researched this topic, I learned more about how mirroring emotions for our children helps them develop a stronger sense of self. And for a variety of reasons, I feel I had less empathy mirrored back to me as I was developing, and I can see how in ways that stunted some emotional connections and blocked my feeling of being able to be safe and vulnerable. And I've worked very hard to overcome this, and I still am. This is a lifelong work for me. So there's tremendous power and usefulness when we mirror those around us in both physical and mental ways. And 99% of it is unconscious. Our brains are programmed to do it. But with awareness and practice, we can totally access many of the thoughts creating this. Now, mirroring becomes a problem when we're not in control of our emotions. We don't like them or how we act with these emotions, and we think the other person is causing us to feel a certain way. No one else can make us feel anything. We feel something because of what we are thinking. Mirroring is also a problem when we start acting or reacting in ways that aren't how we would like to act. And when we feel inclined to continue a pattern or a circle. So, the best way to explain this is with examples. Your teenager comes home hungry, tired, and irritated from school. Their irritation and maybe disrespect seemingly makes you irritated. So you mirror their irritation with your irritation that they're irritated. Okay, look at that. They are not irritating you. What is causing you to feel irritation is your thought they shouldn't be irritated, or I don't like how they're acting. Now, you can think and feel what you want. You might be irritated, but you can't blame them. You can choose to have a different emotion like curiosity or compassion, or maybe you were incredibly happy before they walked in the kitchen door and you want to keep that emotion. It's all going to come from what you're thinking. And funny thing, they might mirror your patience and calm if that's how you choose to feel. Maybe, but it's their choice. Our teens need us to be in control of our emotions. They need us to be stable and model emotional responsibility. Okay, another common mirroring. Someone does something to hurt you, and the knee-jerk reaction is to want to hurt them. Look at that. You are hurt, and you want to hurt them. If you put that situation in a coaching model with a CTFAR on the left side of the paper, you think something about the neutral circumstances, a thought like, I'm offended and hurt by what happened or what was said. That thought fuels the emotion of hurt. Remember, it's our thought, but we often don't realize it's our thought. The emotion of hurt or anger then causes us to feel defensive, find all the ways that we're right, find all the negative about the person who did or said something, and we then want to find a way to hurt them. We get hurt, then we want to hurt the person. Or even worse, we're hurt by someone at work or out in the world, then we come home without getting in control of our emotions, and we mirror the hurt and start acting in hurtful ways at home. See how dangerous that cycle or the cycle of hurt or negative emotions can be? Now, it's normal to be hurt or sad by things that happen in the world. I was hurt recently for about 2 days until I could pull out of it. But the entire time, I worked through feeling the emotion. I was owning why I was feeling it. I was seeing that my thoughts were causing it. I knew it was okay to feel hurt, but realizing I didn't want to continue feeling that way. And I didn't want to hurt in return because I was just feeling that way. I had to stop the cycle. And I did, but it came from understanding where my emotions were coming from, allowing them, and then being totally in control of my response, which was the only thing I could control. So mirroring emotions like hurt and anger can cause cycles or chain reactions that can only be broken with someone maturely taking control and responsibility for their emotions. They take control of themselves, not to change or control the other person, but to feel better themselves. And often other people then might mirror forgiveness or humility or calm, but that depends on what that other person decides to think and feel. And this work, you guys, is very worth doing. I work with every single client on this. It shows up in every single situation and every relationship we have. Now, let's look at another example. A child throws a temper tantrum and we lose our cool, or we start yelling and throwing an adult temper tantrum. See that cycle there? The child doesn't cause our outburst. Our outburst starts in our thoughts that either the child shouldn't be acting the way they are, or we might be thinking thoughts causing embarrassment and exasperation, and those thoughts cause us to lose our cool, not the toddler. So, just like the teenager who's irritable, our children need to see us model controlling our emotions. So in the past, we yell and are impatient with our children. This cycle then causes them to think mirroring is how the world works. which it does work that way with empathy and understanding. But we often end up very disappointed in ourselves for how we're going to handle a tantrum situation. So here's another situation. We go into a store to customer service and they act rude or very short with us. And common human behavior is that it's okay then to respond rudely. No, that is mirroring, and we don't have to be rude when someone's rude to us. We can be if we want to, but we are totally in control of how we respond, and we're responsible for that. The other person isn't in control of our emotions. It's our thoughts that they're being rude and that they shouldn't be causing us to be rude in return. A calm smile is always possible in any situation we want. Maybe it isn't always appropriate, but it is possible. Now, one sneaky way that mirroring appears is when we think, oh, this person's always judging other people. With a lot of my own self-coaching, I found this revelation. I end up doing the same thing I'm accusing them of. I judge others, thinking they shouldn't judge, when I think they shouldn't judge. Sneaky. Or when we accuse people of always being negative. Well, that's us being pretty negative about them, right? Just some things to think about. So I've given you several examples, enough that you get the idea of what mirroring is. I want you to be very aware of when you mirror. What's the most common emotion you mirror? And subconsciously blame the other person for your feelings and then your actions. The way to break the cycle is first to become aware of when you do it. And you'll probably be able to watch other people do it too. But of course, it's most important for you to be aware of yourself doing it. Here are a few things you can stop and ask yourself when you think you're feeling something you don't want to. Ask, first of all, what am I feeling? Do I want to feel this? And most importantly, what thought is causing me to think this? Then really question that thought from every single angle. Then remind yourself, this other person is totally allowed to think and feel whatever emotions they want. That's their freedom. I don't have to feel that way unless I want to. Then ask, well, why is it totally appropriate for that person to feel that way? Remember, you aren't causing their hurt or frustration or grief or disappointment. That's coming from their thoughts. Allow yourself to see the world through their eyes. Be compassionate and empathetic, all while maintaining control of your emotions. Remember, as much as we want to be right all the time, other people are right about their thoughts and emotions and choices. I hate it when people say to someone else, oh, you shouldn't feel bad or you shouldn't feel whatever. No, feelings aren't wrong. We are the ones who need to foster understanding and empathy and compassion. And doing it from a place of respect and control always feels better. The result of eliminating unintentional mirroring is we assume the power over our emotions, and we eliminate dirty pain or negative feelings that are totally unnecessary, which creates space for more joy, happiness, and peace, which I'm all in favor of. Now, if you would like help managing your emotions and truly understanding what thoughts are creating what you feel on a daily basis, please reach out to schedule a phone call to discuss how my tools can help you. We all are living inside our bottle, and we just need someone outside the bottle to help us read the label. I need it. Just this morning, a coach helped me see something very small I had been believing that wasn't true. And she totally refocused my thoughts and emotions in a much more effective and productive direction. You can find me at HeidiBenjaminson.com or on Facebook or Instagram at the same. Please send me a message, and I'll see y'all next week.